Man allegedly behind the movie theater massacre in Aurora, Colorado, making his first appearance in court Monday. Thanks for joining us tonight, everyone. I'm AJ Hilton. The shooting at that Colorado movie theater left 12 people dead, injured dozens of others, and left a community heartbroken. Craig Boswell has the latest outside the courthouse in Centennial, Colorado.
It's the first public glimpse of James Holmes since he allegedly walked into the Century 16 movie theater and opened fire. James Holmes sat silent with a blank stare. The once promising former grad student, now an alleged mass murderer, was wearing a jailhouse jumpsuit with his hands shackled. As the judge spoke, the 24-year-old seemed uninvolved as the fate of his life is on the line. The hearing's purpose was to inform Holmes of the charges he'll soon face. When he was offered a chance to speak,
Mr. Holmes, do you have any questions about that initial advisement?
he stayed quiet. At one point, he closed his eyes. Prosecutors are expected to file charges formally next Monday. A mental health evaluation is routine in cases like this.
I would say there's no such thing as a slam dunk case. It is a case where we're still looking at the enormous amount of evidence.
This is Holmes' mugshot. He's being kept in solitary confinement and is being held without bond. Colorado has the death penalty, and while it's being considered in this case, prosecutors say they'll first discuss that option with the victims and families, but it will ultimately be up to the district attorney. 5 members of victims' families came to watch today's proceedings.
For how much hurt he's done to this whole state, this whole nation, I mean, I don't think he's hurting yet, and I think he needs to.
The judge has issued a gag order in the case. The district attorney says the trial should begin sometime next year. In Centennial, Colorado, Craig Boswell, Fox News.
And the University of Colorado says it has gotten 2 suspicious packages. It is still not clear if it is linked to James Holmes. Police in Bangor, Maine, meanwhile, say a man now in custody attended the Batman movie with a loaded gun in his backpack. 49-year-old Timothy Cordes was pulled over Sunday morning for speeding. Inside his car, an AK-47, 4 handguns, boxes of ammo, and recent clippings of the shooting at the Colorado movie theater. When cops searched his home, they found even more, including a machine gun. Detectives say he was on his way to New Hampshire to shoot a former employer. A Mid-Michigan native was in that Colorado movie theater when the shooting took place. Lyons native Brandon Jenks was across the hall in a different theater. Anthony Sabella spoke with him and his mother about what happened that night.
I was so scared. I started crying because I just didn't know.
Liz Dukevich of Lyons had just gotten up Friday morning when she heard about a mass shooting at a showing of The Dark Knight Rises in Aurora, Colorado. Her son, Brandon Jenks, had moved to the area last August after being in the military for 6 years and told her he was going to see the movie that night with friends.
I knew he was there. I couldn't get a hold of him at first, so I thought, oh my gosh, I hope something didn't happen to him.
Turns out he was in the theater right across the hall from where the shootings occurred, and about 30 minutes into the movie, there was an interruption.
There was white lights that were flashing along the walls of the theater, and nobody really understood what that was for.
Soon after, Jenks says a voice came over the intercom telling everyone that there was an emergency and they needed to evacuate. When he got outside, what he saw surprised him.
There's police officers running out in full gear, shotguns. There was people crying already in the streets and next to it. That's when it hit us. It was like, well, something really happened.
It was then that Jenks went to make sure his friends got out safely.
At that time, we saw this guy to my left, and he was holding his hand, and he was just saying pretty much to himself, I don't know what happened. And I was like, dude, what's wrong? And he showed me his hand, and I don't know what he had been hit with, but he was bleeding profusely.
After meeting up with his friends, they left the theater, and Brandon called his mom.
Oh my God, relieved. Relieved. The first thing I asked him is, are you okay? Because I needed to know that he was fine, and he said, yep.
But even with a military background, Jenks says he's never seen anything like what happened.
This is not war. This was a massacre. This is something that you don't and you can't prepare yourself for.
And that was Anthony Sabella reporting on that story. Jenks says he has not gone back to see the rest of the movie, but adds he does plan to eventually. He's currently studying at Rocky Mountain School of Art and Design in Colorado.